Gentlemen, Antonio here. Okay, so this is going to be a very unique video. Let me show you my screen here. We're about to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. But this is a pretty big deal in the YouTube sphere. I know for a lot of you guys that have been here with me on this journey, I really just wanted to show you guys my appreciation, to thank you very much and give you behind the scenes of what it took to get to 1 million subscribers. YouTube apparently gives us a little bit of recognition. I'm going to get a gold subscriber button, which when you put in, and let me explain, I'll go into details. I've got a lot of stuff I want to show you guys of what it took to build up something like this. So we're going to do a little bit of the countdown here. That's pretty cool. You guys, you know, I know that when you watch this video, I recorded it. Wasn't able to go live. I'm here in Ukraine, so please, I apologize for the bad sound. But as I'm putting together this video, it's kind of, I guess, I feel like I'm going in a circle here, because about 12 years ago, I was in an apartment, my wife's apartment. I just left the Marine Corps. I didn't really feel I had any skill sets, and I was applying to business schools, and all I had with me was this book I had bought for $10 on Amazon. It was a GMAT book, and I knew, okay, I needed to score really high on this GMAT to get into a good business school, because my undergrad grades were horrible, and I didn't know jack about business. I just ran a nonprofit while I was living here, pretty much into the ground, because I didn't understand money. And I felt that, okay, I need to go back to school to accelerate, to be able to meet people. And it turns out the information, all the knowledge, I mean, that's cool and that's great. And I definitely am going to share with you guys today where I've gotten tons of my knowledge. But I think that if you take nothing from this video, understand that I am here. I've had success because of the people I have surrounded myself with. I can't stress that enough. When you surround yourself with people that care about you, that I have to admit, I didn't even know I was going to hit 1 million subscribers today till a friend of mine who tracks my channel and loves what I'm doing and is a big supporter of mine. He called me, you know, I'm here in Ukraine. He called me from the United States. He's like, hey, you know, you are having a phenomenal day. Look at these, look at the subscribers we got yesterday, 34,000. I can tell you, I've never received anything like that. We've been having a good last month and a half, but this blew me away. So we're getting really close. This is getting pretty exciting. You know, so I didn't really know what to expect, but again, you know, it's the relationships, it's the people I've surrounded myself with who helped me get to this level. And I'll share with you guys the knowledge. I'll share with you some of the tools, some of the exact devices I've used, from, you know, I can talk about the cameras and the camcorder I used to the recording devices. You know, this little boom microphone, which is recording a lot of the sound right now, I've had since the beginning, and it served me well. But that's not the way I got to 1 million subscribers. A lot of people, you know, they get focused now on the equipment, they get focused in on the knowledge, but they forget that it's other human beings and building up real relationships with them, which is really, really important. So here we go, guys. Okay, so we're at 989. I'm watching it. Come on, sometimes it jumps really high. 990. We may go down. That's going to be funny as we get to 999, and then it's just going to drop. 994. All right, come on. Yeah, let's go. Come on, somebody else subscribe. Man, tell your friends, tell your family. 997. All right, we could possibly hit it. It seems like it's going in threes here. Look at that. Friggin' million. 1,000,001. 1,000,002. And by the way, we had a 500 drop earlier today. I think it just corrects itself as you lose subscribers throughout the day. But we've been having just incredible growth. So guys, 1 million. It's pretty darn cool. But you're here watching this wondering, how did you get to that 1 million? Okay, so let's take a step back. Like I said, it was an apartment probably about a mile from here. Whenever I started my focus in on business, I understood that I had some really big weaknesses. I didn't understand how to make money. I didn't really think I had any sellable skills. I had left the Marine Corps, but when you leave the military, or maybe you have got a background right out of college, you don't feel like you've got really much experience that people are going to pay for. You probably saw this in the title. It was 100% luck. Now, what does luck mean? Laboring under correct knowledge. I can tell you that over the last 6 years, here, my time on YouTube has been painful. Let's go look at some of these stats. And you can go check this out on Social Blade. So yeah, you see this great growth, this, but let's go back. Let's look at what really happened. Notice that this is July of 2012, guys. Notice 4 years later, we just were over 500,000. It took us 4 years. And then in what is that? Yeah, that's half a year. Boom. So notice the way that these charts grow. You will spend a lot of time, and be prepared if you're going to create anything great, anything amazing. You're going to spend a lot of time laboring and no one's going to notice. Very few people are going to pick up on what you're doing. And you've got to throw your ego out the window. You've got to really pay your dues. And we did this. I mean, we created, let's look at how many videos we have. You can look at 735 uploads. And this isn't, needs 70 million views. But it all started, right over here when you just simply look at, okay, let's look at, subscribers. For the longest time, look at this, 161. Look at this, 142. I didn't really start taking this seriously till we started putting out some videos. And early on, I worked with The Art of Manliness. One of the best things I did is I gave away my content. I found other people that had audiences. So Brett McKay at The Art of Manliness helped me get on the map. I mean, I wouldn't be here. He picked up what I was doing in a tailored suit. I had a blog, Real Men, Real Style, if you haven't checked out. So I was taking something I already had and I was throwing the videos into that. That's where I got my first people that took notice of me. And that's where I initially started building it up. Very steadily moving up in our subscriber base, 145, you notice. But we weren't great. It wasn't crazy numbers. What's the earliest we can see? It doesn't go back to 2011. So I'd say 2011 for a long time. It only goes back. We really didn't have many subs out there. I mean, it was just something we were picking up on. But look at daily views. They were pretty steady. Picking it up right here. But what happened? How does this work? So I love the domino effect, and it basically lays out that the gravitational potential energy of a domino is proportional to the fourth power of its size. And what does that mean? That means that you can get huge effects. And who's calling me? Okay. So look at this right here. Do you see that? Who's calling me from another country? You got Aaron Marino. So I'll have to, I will call him back because this guy actually notified me last night, called me and said, hey, you're having a crazy day. This, I've learned so much, and I'll get into talking about Aaron here for a while, but notice this quick setup. A lot of people are going to say the equipment holds me back, and I admit I've spent quite a bit of money on equipment, probably $6,000. I've got $4,000 in cameras, probably $3,000 in lights, $1,000 on software. I've spent a lot of money, $80,000 over the last 6 years on videography work. I've got a full-time videographer that works for me now, and that's been the last few years. I realized I just needed someone to do that. $50,000 probably over the last few years in employee costs of having people help me monitor and spend time working on YouTube, from building out playlists to helping with comments and things like that. And probably $20,000 in the last probably 2 years on consulting, hiring consultants to help me see things that I wasn't seeing it. But a lot of people, they get focused on that money, and I didn't. That's the least important thing, because I think that, this is, a lot of you guys have a phone. I mean, you've got a smartphone. This is like 15 bucks, this light, and this microphone, a little bit pricey, maybe 100, 150 bucks for this microphone. This is all you need right here. A lot of my videos, with the recent ones, you've seen me walking around talking. This is the setup I had. I didn't even have the lights on them half the time. The barrier to entry is incredibly low. In fact, you could shoot film during the day. You don't need the special lighting. Maybe, but I would focus in on sound. That was something early on I picked up on. That's why I always used boom mics. These lavalier mics work okay sometimes, but you have to get them set, and I really don't like them as much. So boom mics work for me. Shotgun mics are also great. You can attach those to cameras. They're going to point. That one right there that I just showed you is a mini shotgun microphone. I want to talk about relationships. So a couple guys, two in particular I want to call out. Ryan Masters and Aaron Marino. Aaron Marino, you saw, he's already calling to congratulate me. In the last 2 years, Aaron has been just a driving force. But before Aaron, actually it was Ryan. And Ryan reached out to me when my YouTube channel was much smaller. We just became friends. And he's always been someone that's pushed me, motivated me, has helped me take it to the next level, asks me hard questions, holds me accountable. And those two guys together, I mean, we get together at my StyleCon event. They have just really helped me take it to the next level. And what's funny is Ryan's channel, smaller than mine. Aaron's channel, much bigger than mine. But we never, like, it doesn't, we're all in this together. And that's what I discovered, is that surrounding yourself with people that really want to help you, that care about you, that want to see you succeed. Aaron's more excited, I have to admit, about this million than I am. I mean, the guy's, it's like, well, you should stay up all night and watch this. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to stay up all night. I'm going to sleep. Because if you look at the numbers in this last day, this has been crazy. I mean, when he talked to me last night, we were seeing 4,000 subscribers an hour. That's pretty phenomenal. I've had 4,000 a day, but I've never had 4,000 an hour. And over the last month, you can see some of the numbers right here. We had a 10,000 subscriber day, but yesterday was just nuts. I don't know what today is going to be. So far, it's only we're a third of the way through, and we're already 7,500. So we're going to have another probably 15,000 to 20,000 subscriber day. Pretty phenomenal. So Ryan Masters, if you haven't seen what he's doing over there at Sparta Strength, go check him out. Great friend, great program. But what a lot of people don't know about Ryan, he is a marketing AdWords master. He does this for fun, the whole Sparta Strength thing. This is just to prove his point that he can build out channels and really understand stuff. You guys know old Aaron Marino, one of my best friends. Just amazing guy. What I love about Aaron is he cares about people. He is the hardest working man I know. And that's one of the things I realized, is that I wanted to set up everything I'm doing here more with my lifestyle and not so much, I didn't want to work as hard as Aaron. The guy works 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, and he loves it. That's when he can't take a vacation. For me, I can sleep in. I don't mind sleeping 10 hours a night. I like to go off and just go on walks with my wife, and I've got other things I'm going to be doing. He deserves where he's at. He has been such a great friend. So, a lot of other people, Eric over at Beard Brand, he comes out to my StyleCon event. I've learned a lot from Eric. Jeremy over at Jeremy Fragrance, a guy that I've seen take a very niche audience and build up a huge following. I'm going to probably go over to Cologne and see him. Handsome Guy Secrets, Ryan Megan, smaller channel, but what I've learned from him is the power. This guy can sell like no other. Despite the fact only having 20,000 subs, he sells like he has 2 million. I mean, the guy really knows how to sell and isn't afraid to be and to speak in his voice. Jose and Juan, these guys have been doing an amazing job. What I've learned from them is that you can come out of anywhere very quickly and build up a huge following. These guys 2 years ago were just getting started. Look at them now, almost 500,000 followers. And these guys are really taking it to the next level. Raphael over at Gentleman's Gazette. It's a good friend that lives about a few hours from me, and someone that's in a completely different niche and is staying true to what he wants to do, his specialized style, but very much I've learned a lot from this guy. Ryan over at Order of Man. So what I've learned from Ryan is that you can have a small, passionate audience and that YouTube isn't the only place you want to be. So he's taught me about building Facebook groups. I've now got a group that's got almost 30,000 members where I don't really sell in this group. It's about feedback and talking and building community. James Wedmore, years ago, I ran into James at a conference at InfusionCon, and the first thing I said to him is, James, thank you very much. I really appreciate you've helped me build up a channel with over 1 million, I would say like 1 million views at the time. And you notice that I got his attention because I didn't ask for anything from him. I just simply thanked him. I told him an amazing quick testimonial story and offered, how can I help you? So of course, and I've learned so much. Great channel, great, well worth paying for any of his courses. But what I've learned from James also is not just the content about this, but I also noticed that he's got a syndicate. There's a group of guys, him, Lewis, Marie, Ryan Lee, Derek Halpern, basically David Siteman Garland. All these guys, I noticed that they were really tight. And they go to, they go to each other's weddings, they support each other, they're friends, and I'm like, I'm gonna create something like that. Hence, why I created it StyleCon. It's me and it's everyone that many people view as my competitors, because I realized these relationships are so valuable. These people, you can study and spend a lot of time learning, and I definitely advocate listening to audiobooks, going in and reading books, improving your education, but you're one person. Basically, you can't multiply yourself, but you can if you surround yourself with a whole bunch of smart people, because these people are spending hours and hours and hours improving their education, and they're deciphering, picking things out, and they can see based off of their education holes in what you're doing. So it's literally like you're able to multiply yourself, especially when they learn more about you, when they become more invested in your business. That's a great transition to masterminds, and these are where maybe I haven't formed these deeper relationships with these people, but we come together weekly oftentimes and we learn from each other. So video creators. So if you're not familiar with Tim, I've met up with Tim multiple times. Amazing guy. And if you want to learn how to build up your YouTube channel, you need to follow this guy. He is, just one of the best guys out there. Daryl Leaves is pretty good too, but I know Tim personally. He started up a mastermind. He's like, hey, you want to come join it? This was a number of months ago. I didn't know what I was going to learn from these people. To be honest, some of them I was like, what do I have in common? And I'll show you. But I'll show you what I learned from these people and how powerful it was. So we met together for 12 weeks, and Derek, who also was in this, Shannon, Melissa, and Chad, Scott. Let me show you some of their channels. So Derek, he's got a much smaller channel than me. But what I learned from this guy is to study your analytics. This guy dives into the analytics, and I realized how little I knew about my analytics 6 months ago. And then I made a commitment. Okay, I'm going to start going into this stuff. I'm going to start learning it because I've heard it from enough people that I need to improve my analytics. And I started seeing some huge results. And let me see, we've also got Evan. Evan didn't show up to too many of our masterminds, but he's actually, and I have to give him a hat tip, he's the one that asked me what's going on with my YouTube channel. He's been tracking my channel. We're going to be doing some joint promotions here, but Evan would show up, and this guy's deadly smart. You want to follow him. And what I loved is he would add value, and I would have to take a step back and say, you know what? I'm wrong. I agree with what Evan said. So again, it's a loose relationship me and Evan have, but it's one that I find very valuable, because creating a lot of this video was actually partly because he asked me to do it. Now, let's look at what Scott's doing over at Nerdsync. If you are unfamiliar with this channel, you definitely want to check it out. So this is where I'm a total dork. He sent me some pictures of some of the clothing that he has. It reminded me, I used to have a Spider-Man tie, loved it. And this is what I check out on a lot of my free time. I love Star Wars. I don't care. I love Star Trek. I don't fight them against each other. I am the guy watching those videos, comparing the sizes of different starships and just loving the different proportions and how big the V mothership was, and all these things. I'm a big comic book fan. Game of Thrones, yes, I love this stuff. It's kind of my fantasy. But to see someone be able to build a huge following in business is friggin' awesome. So definitely go check out Nerdsync. And then we've got Melissa and Chad. Who would have thought? A cleaning business. And she just put out a really good book, by the way. And in the mastermind, I learned a lot from them. Let's just say that difficulties that they've had building it up. Balance Patrol. Okay. So this was, I have to admit, Shannon, I knew nothing about your channel. And I'm like, what in the world do I have in common with what this woman is doing? How can I learn from her? But what I learned is that, there were so many different business models. For her, it's kids that follow her stuff. So they're not really subscribing to the channel, even though she has 1.2 million subscribers. What you really want to check out are her views. And what I learned is that she goes after repeated views. People that are going to watch her videos again and again. Because look at that, over 1 billion views. That's friggin' phenomenal. That is the power of a mastermind. So from all this, I was inspired. And I created this StyleCon event, which you guys, as you can see, is very quickly approaching. And I started bringing in just other people that I could learn from. So this is a very selfish event because I surround myself with people who have inspired me, like Andy. I wanted to learn about images and infographics. And so I brought in Andy. AJ and Jordan, by the way, two incredibly smart guys at The Art of Charm, which, by the way, they've got an amazing YouTube channel. I'm going to link to it down in the description. But these guys come out and, they built an amazing podcast, top 50 podcast on iTunes. And I've learned how they've built up this multi-million-dollar business teaching guys just the fine, the soft skills in life. Baron over at The Effortless Gent, he's coined a number of words. Just seeing what he's built up, this great lifestyle business with a great design. I've already talked about, Raphael, Ryan, Tanner over at Formerly Masculine Style, but now TannerGuzzi.com. I got to update that. Jose, I've talked about. Eric, I've talked about over at Beard Brand. Ryan, I've talked about. Terry Edelman. So from this getting together, I teamed up with Terry, Aaron, and me, and we formed Menfluential, a media company. And again, this is all because of relationships. And I know some of you guys are asking, okay, Antonio, you're getting a little bit off topic about getting to 1 million subscribers, but it's not like it stands alone. The reason I was partly able to get to 1 million subscribers is I had sponsorships steadily coming in. A lot of people, they're like, Antonio, you sold your soul to the devil. You did too many sponsorships. Well, if you look at those, I tested every single product. Every product I loved. I stand behind every company I've talked about. Terry has really helped me been able to do that because he's made it so that I can hire and continue to employ videographers, image artists, writers, what else? Just managers to help me manage all of this stuff. Brock over at The Modest Man. If you're not familiar, he focuses in on if you're shorter than 5'8", but Brock actually he attended VidCon with me for the first time with Aaron Marino. When I first met Aaron, I met Brock right before I met Aaron, and who else? Ryan Masters was there with me at that one. Kyle over at The Distilled Man, he really focuses on the finer things of life. He's done, he's been at our event multiple times, a big supporter. Dave Johnson over at Fragrance Bros. So whenever we used to be 2 of them, now it's just 1. He comes out, he's heading my fragrance channel. Richie is he's going to be on the Modern Manners guy, but Ryan, I've already talked about. Ted, he was not going to be able to speak this year, but he's someone I've definitely learned from as well. Dan Locke, a new speaker. Thomas, got a great channel if you're not familiar with it, College Info Geek. Paul actually is flying out here to Ukraine. Justin, I haven't met him yet. He's going to be a new speaker. Arian helped me put together the Instagram ranking. Travis, he works with me at Real Men Real Style and also has a great Instagram channel. Evan and Travis, I need to give a little bit of thumbs up to. This guy, he works with me. He's someone I'm grooming to hopefully be great in the industry. And I've just seen amazing things from Travis, and he really helps run things awesomely. Pete, okay, so Pete's Fiend, good friend. If you're not familiar, this guy, DIY Pete, he's hosted me and my family when we're in Montana. The guy, anytime he calls, I'm going to answer the phone. When I call, he answers the phone. He's just a great entrepreneur, someone that I love having in my corner. And I think we got George down here. Him and Blake Scott are going to be coming in, and I'm going to get Blake's picture up there. So look at that. 344 more subscribers since I've been talking here and going on and on. But 2 people I've left off that I really quick want to talk about. Jack over at Deadline Funnels and Ronnie. Both of these guys were in my mastermind, so I do want to thank them. I've talked about mindset. And this is really big stuff, guys, here. But one of the things that was really hard for me with my YouTube channel for the longest time is I kept trying to do what worked for me in the past when YouTube changes very quickly. So you've got to understand. Another thing is I didn't make my channel a priority. So one of the things, I set up a system so that I would give my channel, like, all the money I've spent, which, by the way, how much we've made total since the beginning, about $160,000. I'm not going to I can tell you most of that has been in the last year and a half. Initially, we weren't making much at all. So all that money I put right back in to the program, into everything I do. And that's one of the, I think initially we were probably losing a little bit of money. I was always thinking, how can I get a return on my investment? And now it is definitely set up so that we are seeing a very positive return on it. But initially, I was thinking, like, how can I do this as a business? And that's one of the things I was very consistent about, is I wanted to make my channel, I didn't want it to be the #1 priority. So I had to set up a system so that I was paying a videographer no matter what he did, so I would at least get him the videos out. But I wanted it to be, and this is maybe one of my convictions, it's going to serve me. I'm not going to serve this channel. I see a lot of people become a slave to something that isn't going to be successful, and they wonder why they're so miserable. So, make sure that, always think monetization I run it like a business. This is not a hobby. I've gone through not having money for years. So for me, making money is a priority with this. It's not, I realize I've got to have a great relationship. I have to remain true to my ideals. So that's my big mission, to help men use image to get what they want out of life. I have felt I always stayed true to that. So some of you guys are wondering, okay, Antonio, so what can you share with me? What is working right now on YouTube? I'll tell you, paying attention to your analytics and paying attention to the first 30 seconds, making sure that people aren't dropping off. Tim taught me that in the last 6 months. Another thing is great thumbnails and great headlines. Very important. And sometimes you're going to have a great headline and a great thumbnail. It's not going to go viral for you. But if you consistently knock these out of the park, you stand a very good chance. I think that's what happened to us, why we've had so many, we've had about 3 videos, I would consider maybe 4 videos, go well over 1 million in, within a week, because we started doing this, and I started paying attention to that first little bit. So studying the analytics. I mean, yes, great content is important, but I think a lot of people are already creating great content, and they're wondering, why can't I get my videos in front of more people? So let me talk about what has kept me going for the last 6 years, especially the first 4 to 5 years when we weren't really having as much success. Because not providing for my family was going to hurt a lot more than the hate, the hurt, all that stuff that you've got to go through. And I knew I could be successful. I saw other people doing it. And if you look at the analytics here on Social Blade, you probably can see subscriber ranked. So there's well over 3,000 people that have 1 million subscribers. And 1 million subscribers doesn't make you $1 million. Understand? That's why I really highly advise, if you're going to build this into a real successful business, think business at the outset. Don't try to, and I know that's a popular term out in the Silicon Valley, just get eyeballs and figure out how to monetize later. For most people, that's not going to work. You need to be thinking business at the beginning, and also how you can get more traffic. Because if you're a car dealership, honestly, you don't need that many views. If you're telling jokes or teaching magic tricks, understand you need millions and millions of views per month to even start to monetize that. At the end of the day, luck. And what is luck again? And remember the little acronym I threw out there is laboring under correct knowledge. Yeah, luck got me here. But it was all the work, it was all the preparation, it was the people I surrounded myself with, and for years laboring that got me to this point. So don't think it's an easy path, but it is a rewarding path, one that I wish there's a need for more leaders out there. And whatever industry you want to get into, understand that you can hopefully take this. The biggest thing that is going to kill your dreams are procrastination, putting it off. Let's go back to here. Since this video started, as you guys can see, we've had well over 500 new subscribers. And that's the cool thing, is once you build up something like this, it continues to roll. It works while you sleep. Guys, I don't know what else to say except, thank you very much. Thank you for being part of this journey. I appreciate you. I really do. Let me know in the comments anything you want, maybe your dream for a channel. If you have any questions, I can try to answer a little bit more about this. But that was my path to a million subscribers. And if you didn't, I don't want to repeat myself, but focus in on human beings, becoming someone that useful to other people. Always be trying to build up your stuff, but bury that ego. Surround yourself with great people, and amazing things will happen. Guys, that's it. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you being part of this community we've created here at Real Men Real Style. I will see you in the comments.